Hi guys, welcome back to Love Cooking with Tuhfa. This is a continuation video of why I was rushed to hospital with a tumor I never knew I had. But before we do that, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss part 3. So now I will be talking about the day after I was rushed to hospital with a tumor, cancerous tumor I didn't know I had. This day was basically a day where all the gaps were filled in for, what would happen over the next couple of days. It was also regarding who the doctors were that I was going to see every day. It was 3 doctors. The one doctor, Dr. Shiro, she is still a permanent doctor up until today, and her husband as well, and my oncologist. But the oncologist I didn't see until much later during my stay at the hospital. So basically, I would see her, Dr. Shiro, every day. Dr. Shiro was a permanent doctor. Doctor's visit start to my day. Whenever I saw her, my first question would be like, Doctor, when am I going home? When am I going home? And she said to me, you know what? You had a cyst the size of a sweet melon in your tummy that burst. I can't send you home if I don't know what the situation is and what exactly that cyst is. So for now, I'm keeping you in the hospital, and once we have an action plan, we can work on the next step of you being discharged. At the end of the day, there was a possibility that we were discussing removing my right ovary. So, just a side note, only my left ovary was surgically removed because of the sweet melon sized cyst, the cancerous cyst that burst inside of me. And there was no way that she was going to send me home. While I was in ICU, without knowing these, it's basically questions that had no answers at the time, because we had to wait on the information that had to be provided from the lab where she sent the cyst off to. So like I was saying, when you're in ICU and you're laying there and you're on a drip and you have BP machine on you and you have a nurse around you, and like I'm trying to keep calm through all of this because this was a very difficult time for me, like I mentioned. And it's not something that people can easily deal with, especially when you're just thinking about a cyst the size of a sweet melon that was in your tummy. That's a thought that crosses your mind, and the whole ordeal of you being rushed into hospital like I was. I think that bit got to me the most. That bit really got to me the most. I also recall a time when she asked me, did you not see yourself pick up weight? Like, did you not see yourself getting fat? So I'm like, you know what? This was my answer. Literally, this was my answer. After having a baby, the battle of feeling hot or looking hot is so challenging. I just assumed it was baby fat that I had. I didn't think that it was cancer. I really didn't think it was cancer. And the craziest part of it all is I didn't experience any pain. I didn't have any discomfort or anything that would have made me realize that I had a cancerous tumor inside of me up until the point that it popped. Because for me, it's like a miracle in disguise. It's seriously a miracle in disguise. I firmly believe, for those who know me, I firmly believe that with everything bad that happens to you, there must be something good. There must be something good out of it. Anyway, so now we're going to fast forward to the Saturday morning. So I came to terms with the fact that I wasn't going to go home anytime soon. And because it was a Saturday, I didn't expect to see Dr. Shiro either. But the moment she walked in through the door, I immediately knew when I looked at her that I needed to prepare myself for some bad news. I had to prepare myself for even more bad news. This was basically the moment where I knew, but I needed to hear a moment. 3 days later, I was sitting up in bed and I watched her explain everything to me. Guys, I say watched. Because at this point, after hearing malignant cancer so many times in a sentence, you can't hear anything else. You seriously can't hear anything else. This topped my worst day ever. At that point, I don't know. I still don't know how I handled it. I was alone on a bed in ICU with COVID happening. Your family isn't allowed to, visit you. You're allowed one visitor in ICU if you're lucky. And I sat there and just got the biggest shock of my life. News I never ever thought I'd hear as a 32-year-old. Or in fact, at all, because my family, they're all diabetic. I'm the only one that's not diabetic. Like, there's a few here and there. But cancer? No, not at all. And I said to her that, like when the angels were arranging your family members' vessels, I feel like they were pouring diabetes in everybody's vessel, and when it came to my vessel, there was no more diabetes left in the cylinder, and they just poured some cancer into my vessel. Guys, I have nothing left but strength in me. I've spent that entire night crying, trying to not let it eat me from the inside out. Look, when she left, she told me that, like, look, you have a lot to think about. You need to wrap your head around this. You need to make some sense. I was literally sitting there trying to, pull the words from the air and just make sense of it the best way that I could, understand it. And she told me, look, Google it. Sometimes Google is your friend. That was literally words. Because I know all of us, we go onto Google and we research things and we check things out, and we just end up making ourselves more sick. And here I had a doctor telling me what was wrong with me, and for some comfort going onto Google and checking out some more information. Look, she left and I was laying there, I was screaming. I was crying on the inside. For real, I was. It was. The hardest part of it, I needed to keep calm and let my family know that the youngest sibling out of 3 has cancer.